The front door slammed shut, and my boots hit the hardwood floor with a thud that echoed through the silent house. 8 weeks of dust and exhaustion clung to me, but the weight of my wife's voice from the living room hit harder. I'm 5 weeks pregnant. My heart stopped, because I'd been gone for 8. I stood frozen in the hallway, my suitcase still gripped in one hand, the keys dangling in the other. The air felt thick, like it was holding its breath along with me. Emily's voice, usually soft and warm, carried a tremor I didn't recognize. Pregnant? The word clawed at my brain, shredding through the math. 8 weeks on a construction project in Nevada. No visits home, no contact beyond a few rushed calls. I wasn't a genius, but I could count. 5 weeks pregnant meant the baby wasn't mine. The living room came into view as I rounded the corner. Emily sat on the couch, her auburn hair falling in messy waves over her shoulders, a pregnancy test clutched in her hands. Her eyes flicked up to meet mine, and for a split second, I saw something. Guilt, maybe, or defiance. Our daughter, Lily, was nowhere in sight, probably upstairs, oblivious to the bomb her mother had just dropped. "Jake," Emily said, her voice cracking as she stood. "You're back early." Early. I dropped the suitcase, the thud louder than I intended. 8 weeks, Em. I've been gone 8 weeks. Care to explain? Her face paled, but she didn't flinch. "It's not what you think," she said, too quickly, her hands twisting the test like it was a lifeline. "You don't understand." "Then make me understand." My voice was low, but it shook with the effort to stay calm. Every muscle in my body screamed to shout, to demand answers, but I held it together. Barely. "Because right now, it sounds like you're telling me you're pregnant with someone else's kid." Her lips parted, but no words came. The silence was worse than any confession. I stepped closer, my eyes locked on hers, searching for the woman I'd married 10 years ago. The one who'd laughed with me over cheap wine on our honeymoon, who'd held my hand when Lily was born, who'd promised forever. Was she still in there, or had she been gone longer than I'd realized? "Jake." She stopped, her gaze dropping to the floor. "It's complicated." "Complicated." I laughed, a bitter sound that didn't feel like mine. "You're pregnant, and I've been 2,000 miles away. That's not complicated, Em. That's impossible." Her shoulders stiffened, and she lifted her chin, a spark of defiance flashing in her green eyes. "You're never here, Jake. You're always gone, months at a time. Did you ever think about what that does to me? To us?" I felt the words like a punch. "Don't you dare," I said, stepping closer. "Don't you dare turn this on me. I'm out there breaking my back to keep this family afloat. And you what? You find someone else to fill the void." Her silence was answer enough. The room spun, and I gripped the back of the couch to steady myself. My eyes landed on a photo on the mantel. Us at Lily's 5th birthday, her tiny hands smearing cake on my face while Emily laughed. "That was us. That was real. How did we get here?" "Jake, I didn't mean for this to happen," she whispered, her voice breaking. "It just had happened." "Who?" The word came out like a growl. "Who is he?" She shook her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. "It doesn't matter." "It matters to me." My voice cracked, louder than I meant, and I heard a creak from the stairs. "Lily." I lowered my tone, but the anger still burned. "Tell me his name, Emily. Now." She wiped her eyes, her hands trembling. "Mark," she said finally, so softly I almost missed it. "Mark Reynolds." The name hit like a sledgehammer. Mark Reynolds, our neighbor, the guy who'd mowed our lawn when I was away last summer, who'd brought over beers during the block party. Married Mark Reynolds, with a wife and 2 kids of his own. I'd shaken his hand. I'd trusted him. I turned away, my hands clenched into fists. "How long?" I asked, not sure I wanted the answer. "Jake, please." "How long, Emily?" "A few months," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "It started when you were in Arizona last spring." "Arizona." 6 months ago. I'd been gone for 10 weeks then, too. The realization twisted like a knife. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This was a choice, over and over again. I wanted to scream, to tear the house apart, but Lily's footsteps on the stairs stopped me. She appeared in the doorway, her 16-year-old face pale and wide-eyed. "Dad? What's going on?" Emily moved toward her, but I held up a hand. "Not now, Lil," I said, my voice softer but still raw. "Go back upstairs. Please." Her eyes darted between us, and I saw the moment she realized something was horribly wrong. She didn't argue, just turned and fled, her footsteps fading. I looked back at Emily, my chest tight with a mix of rage and grief. "You need to leave," I said, the words tasting like ash. "Pack a bag. Go to your sister's, your mom's, I don't care. Just go. Jake, we can talk about this." "There's nothing to talk about." I cut her off, my voice cold. "You made your choice. Now I'm making mine." She stood there, tears streaming, but I didn't move. I couldn't. Not yet. As she turned to grab her purse, I felt the first crack in my resolve, the part of me that still loved her screaming to stop this, to fix it. But then I thought of Lily, of the life we'd built, and the man who'd torn it apart. This wasn't just about Emily and me anymore. I needed to find Mark's wife, Sarah. She deserved to know. And together, we'd figure out what came next. Sarah Reynolds lived 3 houses down, in a tidy colonial with a swing set in the backyard. I'd seen her at school events, always smiling, always put together, the kind of mom who baked cookies for the PTA. Now, as I stood on her porch that evening, the weight of what I was about to say made my stomach churn. How do you tell a woman her husband's been sleeping with your wife? How do you break someone's world like that? The door opened, and Sarah's smile faltered when she saw my face. "Jake, is everything okay?" "No," I said, my voice rough. "Can we talk?" "Inside." She hesitated, then stepped aside, leading me to a kitchen that smelled faintly of cinnamon. Her kids were upstairs, their laughter drifting down, a cruel contrast to what I was about to do. I didn't waste time. "Sarah, I just found out Emily's pregnant. 5 weeks. I've been gone for 8. Her face froze, the color draining from her cheeks. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying Mark's the father." The words felt like spitting nails. "Emily told me it's been going on for months." Sarah's hand flew to her mouth, and she sank into a chair. For a moment, she just stared at the table, her breathing shallow. "Mark?" she whispered, like she was testing the name, hoping it wasn't real. "No, that can't be right." I wish it wasn't. I sat across from her, my hands clasped to keep them from shaking. But Emily admitted it. "I'm so sorry, Sarah." She shook her head, tears welling but not falling. "He's been distant. Working late, always on his phone. I thought it was stress, the new job." Her voice cracked. "How could he do this? To me? To the kids?" I didn't have an answer. My own pain was still too raw, too tangled with anger to offer comfort. But looking at Sarah, I saw the same betrayal mirrored in her eyes, the same shattering of trust. We weren't just spouses. We were allies now, bound by the wreckage our partners had left behind. "What do we do?" she asked, her voice small but steadying. "I can't just let this go." "We don't," I said, leaning forward. "They don't get to walk away from this like nothing happened. We deserve better. Lily, your kids, they deserve better." Sarah nodded, wiping her eyes. "I want him to hurt like I'm hurting," she said, her voice hardening. "I want them both to feel this." Her words sparked something in me, a plan forming through the haze of anger. "Then we make them face it," I said. "Not just us, but everyone. Their friends, their families, their coworkers. They don't get to hide." Sarah's eyes met mine, a flicker of resolve breaking through her grief. "How?" I thought of Emily's sister, Claire, who'd always been nosy about our marriage. I thought of Mark's boss, who'd invited us to his barbecue last summer. I thought of the neighborhood, the school, the community that had watched us build our lives. "We tell the truth," I said. "All of it. No secrets, no lies. Let them deal with the fallout." Sarah's lips pressed into a thin line, and she nodded. "Okay, but I need to confront him first. Alone." "I get it," I said. "I need to talk to Emily again, too. But after that, we do this together." "Agreed. Agreed." Her voice was firmer now, like she'd found a piece of herself in the decision. "And Jake? Thank you for telling me." I nodded, my throat tight. As I left her house, the night air hit me like a slap, sharp and cold. I walked back home, my mind racing. Emily was still gone, probably at Claire's, and Lily was upstairs, probably texting her friends about the fight she'd overheard. I couldn't face her yet, not until I had a plan. The next morning, I called Claire. She picked up on the second ring, her voice cautious. "Jake? Is Emily okay? She's with you, right?" I asked, keeping my tone even. Yeah, she's here. She's upset. What happened? She didn't tell you? I let out a bitter laugh. Ask her about Mark Reynolds. Ask her about the baby. There was a long pause. Jake, what are you talking about? Just ask her, Claire. And when you do, let her know I'm not keeping this quiet. Neither is Sarah. I hung up before she could respond. The first seed was planted. By the time I was done, everyone would know what Emily and Mark had done. But first, I needed to protect Lily. She was the one innocent person in this mess, and I'd be damned if I let her get caught in the crossfire. Lily was in her room when I knocked, her music blasting through the door. I pushed it open to find her curled up on her bed, phone in hand, her eyes red from crying. Dad, she said, sitting up. What's going on? Why did Mom leave? I sat on the edge of her bed, my heart aching. How do you explain betrayal to a 16-year-old? Lil, your mom and I were going through something. It's not your fault, okay? None of this is. Her eyes narrowed. Don't treat me like a kid. I heard you guys fighting. What did she do? I took a deep breath, choosing my words carefully. Your mom made some choices that hurt our family. She's been seeing someone else, and she's pregnant. It's not my baby. Lily's face crumpled, and she hugged her knees to her chest. Mark? From down the street. I nodded, surprised she'd pieced it together. How'd you know? I saw them, she whispered. A couple months ago, at the park. They didn't see me, but they were close. I didn't want to believe it. The image of Emily and Mark together burned in my mind, but seeing Lily's pain was worse. Why didn't you tell me? I asked gently. I thought maybe I was wrong, she said, her voice breaking. I didn't want to ruin everything. I pulled her into a hug, her shoulders shaking against me. You didn't ruin anything, Lil. This is on them, not you. I'm so sorry you had to see that. She pulled back, wiping her eyes. What happens now? Are you guys getting divorced? The word hit like a brick. Divorce. I hadn't let myself think that far, but it loomed now, inevitable. I don't know yet, I admitted. But I'm going to make sure you're okay, no matter what. And I'm going to make sure they face what they've done. Lily's jaw tightened, a spark of her mother's defiance in her eyes. Good. They deserve it. Her words strengthened my resolve. That afternoon, I met Sarah at a coffee shop, away from prying eyes. She looked exhausted, her eyes puffy, but there was a fire in her expression that hadn't been there last night. I confronted Mark, she said, stirring her coffee without drinking it. He admitted everything, didn't even try to deny it. What did you do? I asked, leaning forward. I kicked him out, she said, her voice steady. Told him to stay at his brother's. The kids don't know yet, but I'm not letting him back until I figure this out. I nodded, impressed by her strength. I told Emily to leave, too. She's at her sister's. I also called Claire, let her know what's going on. She's probably grilling Emily as we speak. Sarah's lips twitched, not quite a smile. Good. Let them squirm. What's next? I was thinking we go public, I said, my voice low. Not just rumors, but the truth. Post it online, tell their friends, their coworkers. Let the community see who they really are. Sarah hesitated, her fingers tightening around her mug. That's big. My kids, Jake. They'll hear about it at school. I know, I said, my chest tightening. Lily too. But if we keep this quiet, they control the story. They get to spin it, make excuses. We don't owe them that. She nodded slowly. You're right. I need to talk to my kids first. Prepare them. Same here, I said. Lily already knows about Mark, but I need to tell her the rest. After that, we move forward. Together. We spent the next hour planning. Social media posts, tagged with their names. Emails to mutual friends, short and factual. A letter to Mark's boss, who valued family men above all else. It wasn't about revenge, it was about accountability. They'd shattered our lives. They didn't get to walk away unscathed. As I drove home, my phone buzzed. A text from Emily. Can we talk? I'm so sorry, Jake. Please. I stared at it, my thumb hovering over the reply button. Part of me wanted to hear her out, to find some shred of the woman I loved. But then I thought of Lily's tears, of Sarah's broken expression, and I deleted the message. Sorry wasn't enough. Not anymore. The next few days were a blur of pain and planning. Lily stayed close, her usual teenage sarcasm replaced by quiet worry. I tried to keep things normal, breakfast, school drop-offs, but the house felt hollow without Emily. Her absence was a constant reminder of the betrayal, like a bruise that hurt every time I moved. Sarah and I met again, this time at my place. Lily was at a friend's, giving us space to finalize our plan. Sarah brought a laptop, her fingers flying as she drafted a post for the neighborhood Facebook group. "We keep it simple," she said, her voice steady. "Just the facts. No embellishments." I read over her shoulder. "To our friends and neighbors, we're heartbroken to share that our spouses, Emily Carter and Mark Reynolds, have been having an affair for months. Emily is pregnant with Mark's child. We're asking for your support as we navigate this betrayal. Short, direct, devastating." "You sure about this?" I asked, my stomach twisting. Once we posted, there was no going back. Sarah's eyes met mine, fierce and unyielding. They made their choices. Now they live with them. I nodded, adding my own post to a group chat with our college friends. I emailed Mark's boss, keeping it professional but clear. "Mark's been unfaithful with my wife, resulting in a pregnancy. I thought you should know, given your company's values." Sarah sent a similar email to Emily's co-workers at the library, where she'd always been the sweet one. We hit send together, our fingers hovering over the keys like we were launching a missile. In a way, we were. The posts went live, the emails delivered. Within hours, my phone buzzed with notifications, shock, condolences, a few nosy questions. Sarah's did the same. The truth was out, spreading like wildfire. Emily called that night, her voice frantic. "Jake, what the hell? You told everyone? Claire won't stop calling me, and my boss. God, Jake, why?" "You did this, Em," I said, my voice cold. "You and Mark. You don't get to hide from it." "You're ruining my life," she sobbed. "How am I supposed to face anyone?" "Like I'm facing you right now," I snapped. "Like Sarah's facing Mark. You made this mess. Deal with it." I hung up, my hands shaking. Lily came downstairs, her eyes wide. "Dad, people are talking about it at school. Everyone knows." I pulled her into a hug, guilt gnawing at me. "I'm sorry, Lil. I didn't want you caught in this." "It's okay," she said, her voice muffled against my shoulder. "They deserve it. But what happens to us now?" "I don't know," I admitted. "But we'll figure it out. Together." The next day, Sarah texted me. "Mark's begging to come home. Says he'll do anything. What about Emily?" I typed back. "She's calling, but I'm not ready to talk." "You?" "Same. Let's meet tomorrow. We need to stay strong." The fallout was immediate. Emily's co-workers distanced themselves. Her friends stopped calling. Mark's boss called him in for a talk. The neighborhood, once friendly, turned cold. People stared when Emily picked up her car from Claire's. Mark's brother kicked him out, forcing him to a motel. Their perfect lives were unraveling, just as we'd planned. But it wasn't enough. Not yet. Sarah and I met again, our resolve hardening. "We need to protect our kids," she said. "And we need to protect ourselves. Legally." I nodded, thinking of Lily's future. Divorce lawyers. Financial audits. We make sure they can't take anything else from us. Sarah's eyes gleamed with determination. "Let's do it." The lawyer's office was sterile, all glass and sharp angles, a stark contrast to the chaos in my head. Sarah and I sat side by side, our attorneys across the table, laying out our options. Divorce was the obvious path, but it wasn't simple. Emily and Mark had drained our trust, but we needed to ensure they didn't drain our bank accounts, too. Adultery doesn't carry much weight in court, my lawyer, Karen, said, adjusting her glasses. But we can push for primary custody of Lily, given Emily's instability. And we'll audit your finances to protect your assets. Sarah's lawyer nodded. "Same for you, Sarah. Mark's income is tied to his job, which might be at risk now. We'll make sure you and the kids are secure." We spent hours strategizing, dividing assets, securing alimony, protecting our homes. It felt cold, transactional, but it was necessary. Emily and Mark had betrayed us, but we wouldn't let them take our futures, too. Back home, I sat Lily down again. "I'm meeting with a lawyer," I told her. "Your mom and I were probably getting divorced." She nodded, her face unreadable. I figured. "What about me? Where will I live?" "With me," I said firmly. "If that's what you want. Your mom can see you, but you're my priority." Lily's eyes softened. "I want to stay with you, Dad. Mom, she's not herself anymore." I hugged her, my heart breaking for the family we'd lost. But her trust in me was a lifeline, something to hold on to. Sarah called that night, her voice tense. Mark showed up at the house. He was crying, begging me to take him back. Said he'd end things with Emily, that it was a mistake. What did you say? I asked, my grip tightening on the phone. I told him to leave, she said. He doesn't get to cry now. Not after what he did. I admired her strength. Emily hadn't tried coming home, but her texts kept coming, each one more desperate. I love you, Jake. We can fix this. Think of Lily. I didn't respond. Love didn't lie. Love didn't cheat. The next step was the school. Lily and Sarah's kids were getting whispers, stares. We met with the principal, a kind woman who promised to monitor bullying and offer counseling. Kids are resilient, she said, but they need support. Lily started seeing a counselor, and I did, too. Talking helped, but the anger still burned. Sarah and I kept in touch, our bond growing stronger. We weren't just victims, we were fighters, rebuilding from the ashes. The neighborhood fallout continued. Emily quit her job, unable to face her co-workers. Mark's boss demoted him, citing personal conduct. Their affair was the talk of the town, and they had nowhere to hide. Part of me felt a grim satisfaction, but it was fleeting. Destroying them didn't fix us. Sarah and I met again, this time at a park. It's working, she said, watching her kids play. They're paying for what they did. But it still hurts. Yeah, I said, my eyes on Lily, who was texting on a bench. It's not about winning. It's about surviving. She nodded, her hand brushing mine. It wasn't romantic, just solidarity. Two people who'd been broken, choosing to stand tall. Months passed, and the divorce proceedings began. Emily fought for shared custody, but Lily refused to see her anger as raw as mine. The lawyer warned me it'd be a battle, but I had evidence. The pregnancy, the affair, the public fallout. Emily's reputation was in tatters, and she had no leverage. Sarah's case was similar. Mark tried to play the victim, but his demotion and the affair's exposure weakened his case. Sarah got primary custody, and I was close to securing the same. Our lawyers worked together, pooling resources to ensure neither Emily nor Mark could manipulate the system. The community's reaction was relentless. Emily moved to an apartment across town, avoiding the neighborhood. Mark stayed in a motel, his brother refusing to take him back. Their affair, once a secret, was now a scarlet letter, branding them wherever they went. Lily started to heal, slowly. She joined a school art club, her sketches a way to process the pain. I framed one, a stormy sea with a lighthouse, steady in the chaos. That's you, Dad, she said, and I nearly broke down. Sarah's kids were struggling, too, but she was a rock. We started having family dinners, our kids bonding over shared pain. It wasn't a new family, but it was something, support, understanding, a reminder we weren't alone. One night, Emily showed up at the house. I was in the garage, working on my truck, when she appeared, her face gaunt. Jake, I need to talk to you. I wiped my hands, keeping my distance. What's there to say? I'm sorry, she said, her voice breaking. I know I messed up. I ended things with Mark. I lost the baby. The words hit hard, but I felt nothing. Not relief, not sadness. Just emptiness. I'm sorry for that, I said, meaning it. But it doesn't change what you did. I know, she whispered. I want to see Lily. I want to fix this. She's not ready, I said. And neither am I. You need to give us time. She nodded, tears falling, and left without another word. I watched her car disappear, a strange mix of pity and resolve settling in my chest. She'd made her choices. Now she lived with them. Sarah called later, her voice lighter. Mark's moving out of state, she said. He got a job offer in Ohio. He's leaving next week. Good riddance, I said, and we both laughed, a small release in the tension. We did it, Jake, she said. We held them accountable. Yeah, I said, looking at Lily's lighthouse sketch on the wall. Now we rebuild. A year later, the divorce was final. I got primary custody of Lily, and Emily got supervised visits. She was trying, I'd give her that, going to therapy, working a new job, but the trust was gone. Lily saw her once a month, their conversations stiff but civil. I stayed out of it, letting Lily set the pace. Sarah's divorce was finalized, too. She kept the house, her kids thriving in counseling. Mark was gone, a ghost in Ohio, his name rarely mentioned. The neighborhood had moved on, the scandal fading into gossip's background noise. Lily graduated high school, her art portfolio earning her a scholarship. At her graduation, I sat with Sarah and her kids, our makeshift family cheering louder than anyone. Emily was there, too, in the back, a quiet observer. I didn't resent her presence. I didn't feel much for her at all anymore. Sarah and I stayed close, not as lovers, but as survivors. We'd meet for coffee, share stories of our kids, laugh about the small victories. We made it through, she said one day, her smile genuine. Not just survived, thrived. She was right. Lily was stronger, her art a testament to her resilience. I was stronger, too, finding purpose in being her rock. The house didn't feel hollow anymore. It was ours, filled with new memories. One evening, Lily showed me a new sketch, a family on a beach, the lighthouse in the distance. That's us, she said, pointing to the figures. You, me, Sarah, her kids. We're okay now, right? Yeah, Lil, I said, my voice thick. We're okay. The pain of Emily's betrayal never fully left, but it dulled, like a scar that only aches in the rain. Sarah and I had torn down the lies, exposed the truth, and built something new in the wreckage. Not revenge, but justice. Not just survival, but a life worth living. As I hung Lily's sketch on the wall, I realized we hadn't just destroyed Emily and Mark. We'd saved ourselves.